We're living in a world where comedy has been gutted. Both sides of the political divide seem to share this sentiment, but the reasoning for each of those sides is different. Joe Rogan is not the only comedian to cater to the small and dwindling COVID denial crowd, as this excerpt from Jim Breuer's recent special shows us.
Everyone that wants to talk to you about facts and science. No, you do the facts. And that's all I see when they talk like that. No, this is real. It's the facts because I researched it. It's like little parakeets just waiting for the news to come on, walking in. And then the news comes on. Dr.
Fauci's on! Dr. Fauci's on! Two masks, three masks, three masks, two masks. Vaccine, 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 vaccine. Wear the mask. Numbers are going up. Numbers are going up.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh God. I hope I don't get myself sick.
I have to say, as someone who owned parakeets or who grew up in a house with them, that's technically not a parakeet. If anything, that is an African gray parrot on acid.
Why is it got to be African? Huh? Why is it?
Yeah, right? Tom Joe Rogan.
But I think the problem with Breuer's, it's the same thing I have with Bill Maher, is that it's good comedy, but it's not good policy. You know,
I didn't even see it was good comedy.
They try to collapse everything down to make it, you know, to over exaggerate. You know, 3 masks, 2 masks. It's like this pandemic has evolved. You know, what used to work at the beginning didn't work at the end. You know, and people learn stuff along the way, and yet they throw this stuff out like, you know, this was stupid, you know, having people wear masks. You know, Bill Maher's on this big joke about, yeah, what's the deal with masks? You got to wear them when you come into a restaurant and when you're walking through the restaurant, but when you sit at your table, suddenly it's not a problem. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, that's scientific, you know?
I don't think the people who enjoyed Jim Breuer have the ability to make that distinction.
Well, that's fair. The thing is that they laugh, and so they encourage this lack of understanding. Same thing like with Bill Maher. It's like at no point do they sit and say, well, you know, the scientists have been saying you need like a 6-foot bubble. Then it was down to 3 feet. When you come into a restaurant, everyone's crowded at the host stand or the bar, so they're less than 3 feet away from each other. When they walk into their table, they're less than 3 feet from all the tables on either side of them. So yeah, that's why you wear a mask until you get to your table and you're inside your 3-foot bubble. But that doesn't make good comedy. What makes good comedy is the friction. You know, we create that friction and then we release it. So that's the problem, is you have an entertainment trying to run up against policy. And we are, sadly to say, we are a society that reads less, you know, nobody reads papers anymore. And we're becoming more and more less critical, you know, not to bring up critical race theory, but we're less educated and critical about what we get from the media. They absorb it whole cloth, you know. It's if 200 million people listen to this podcast, then it must be right. You know, I'm in that crowd.
Jim Breuer wasn't even telling jokes there. And so some dope spent $12 plus a 2-drink minimum to watch him do that, and that is awful.
But it reinforced what that joker felt. So that's why they like it, because it's like we talked about the people choosing their news. It's all about being right and being reinforced in what you believe. So
Jim Breuer has had greater success than I will ever have with my mediocre and fading comedy career. But that was awful. And
that was awful. Yeah, I didn't. There was nothing funny. Yeah.
It was also called "You Risked Your Life to Be Here."
Yeah.
People at home can't see that. That was what that clip was called in the however Tom pulled it up. So he's making fun of the fact that these people have quite possibly literally risked the lives of immunocompromised other people to be
Exactly.
there. And that's what he called this clip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was
It's what he called the whole special. Yeah.
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 It's Louis Black, a truly talented comedian, had as a special name that, but it was recorded in February 2020 when we weren't sure what was happening. So then it was, I'm not sure. It
Tongue in
sounds
cheek,
like
right.
you did. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Another example I found is that George Carlin recorded, this is years ago, he recorded a special called I Kind of Like It When a Lot of People Die. Right? That was the name of the special. And he recorded that on September 10th, 2001. So the next day he was like, okay, well, I have to shelve this now. And then that was released recently as a posthumous recording. So I mean, it's all a matter of timing.
It is. The thing I hate most is the first Spider-Man movie. They had to clip the scene with the web between the Twin Towers because of that.